So, one of the important things with doing speeches, don't bullet through them. Make sure each point is made during your speech. If you're just this is the number one thing that you need to know about doing a speech is do not read it. Just don't.
Of course.
Because if you read it, you're going to go straight through it without even realizing it. You want to
Yeah,
make sure that your point is getting across. You don't want to just be reading off of the thing that you wrote. You want to write each page like you are trying to explain something to someone. So if you're
yeah,
explaining something to someone, make sure you get every word to them. Now, it's important not to be like, as a young 10-month-old babies, we are being taught. Don't do that. Give it.
yeah.
Don't just the main issue when doing a speech is don't sound like you're reading off of something. Sound like you're actually giving the effort, actually getting the emotion to it.
Good thing hand gestures are also very important here because
Mhm.
like if you're talking, you just like you see a teacher talking, they usually have hand gestures or something, making use of their bodies to present something. Like while you're reading, you're just standing there and just yes, young 10-month-old babies, we are being taught like something like this. It was like so weird.
I am
Like you would
robot. I know how communications work with the humans.
yeah, everything I say is
Communication is very
very
important in our daily lives. Everyone needs it. Animals, humans, robots.
the guy from the back rooms.
Exactly.
Yeah, because even then we won't be able to. The teacher knows. The teacher knows. This is literally why they asked us to memorize it, and they
Mhm.
probably take the script away from us. They're gonna take the script away from us, and we're just gonna be left there to memorize whatever the flip we wrote. And like,
That's during public speaking, we were not allowed at any point to have our entire speech out in front of us. You could have note cards or you could have bullet points. I used bullet points because that's how you're supposed to do a lot of like different types of speeches and whatnot. Especially if you have a PowerPoint, you want to do bullet points. Um, but
yeah,
like it really just comes down to don't sound like you're reading off of it because that's when the speech falls flat.
yeah, that's also a thing because you think because most it's too often because I live in a school where we do a lot. I live in a place where a lot of the schools do make us do PowerPoint reports, and usually my classmates they would just read it and then explain
No.
it after. That's the formula. They wouldn't
Mm-mm.
like simply like explain it from the get go. They would read it and then they would explain. So, like for example, as 10-month-old babies, we are being taught how to say mama or papa at such a young age. So
And then
and
they'd
then
be
we go
like,
like,
pause.
so,
All right. So about the mom and pa. No. Yeah,
yeah,
no.
that's exactly how they
So
do it.
no. Okay, so my dad, who has been a businessman for so long, he always has to do uh PowerPoints and whatnot. The number one thing that a teacher is going to mark you off for is just reading off of it. That's why it's so.
Yeah,
This is why I say. This is why I told you. Just like write a word down for a sentence. It could be the first word in that sentence, and then write the entirety of that sentence on the back of that notebook paper. Is because in a bullet point, you are going to have to know the information that you are bringing up for that bullet point without showing the information, because it shows that you have taken the time to put in the effort to know it, because they're
yeah,
going to look at it. They're going to look at a line of things that you're just reading off of. It's like you didn't do anything. You've copied and pasted to read off of it. You're just telling us what it says there on the screen that we can go ahead and read. It also keeps the attention of the audience, because an audience could just read over your PowerPoint and then just ignore you. They could just stop. I mean, like they've got all the information. Why they got to listen to you? So that's why it's important to have those bullet points, so you can go up with more information on it. So they're like, okay, what are they going to say next? Where they're going with this bullet point? What's the topic they're bringing up?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And another thing is that it also makes the presentation a lot longer. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
if you're just gonna read some stuff that you just copy pasted on Wikipedia and just gonna read stuff, it's gonna take you like probably a minute, and then you're gonna have to explain it for another minute before moving to the next slide. That gives enough people time to get notes, but still, it doesn't look very professional. And
No.
especially when that also gives it, what do you call this? That also when gives it the fact that you didn't study for it. You're just reading off of something. And then when the
Mm-hmm.
teacher, that's the thing with our school as well, is if our teacher asks us something, they wouldn't know the answer because they just read off the thing.
So, whenever I took public speaking, I made a 95 on every single one of my PowerPoints and speeches.
No
I
wonder.
I would have people who would ask me, they say, "How do you consistently get a good grade on this?" And I literally would tell them the same thing. Don't read it and use bullet points. Because all they would do is write the whole thing and just read off of it. And another thing is, don't sound like you're just reading. Don't sound like that one character from Monster. Always watching Wazowski. Don't be that person.
Yeah, and like I said, just that would also give the point if it's usually our PowerPoint is a group project, right? It's a group project, and then only you would tell that only one person did the project if they don't know the
Mm-hmm.
answer question of the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like they would ask, because you would just read. Usually, they just the group members would just rely on someone to make the report, and then they would just because they could just read off of it, like and that would they would say that was like, what do you call this? They would say that was like their only that was literally their only contribution. But if they get asked, they don't know the answer because they didn't help with the presentation and stuff, and they didn't even take the time to read it, which is what I'm saying. It's very ooh, I'm losing my breath. It's very if you really want to get a good grade on a PowerPoint, yeah, you're going to have to at least look at it and review it and like know what you're talking about. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
it is.
These are the three things that my dad told me whenever I made speeches. Keep a
Mm.
fair amount of eye contact. Don't just read it. Sound like you mean it. Even
Yeah,
even you really don't, in all honesty, have to keep full eye contact on your audience. Look in their general direction though. You can
yeah,
just like look down for them, like that. Look down to your classmates for like 5 seconds, and then look up for like a little. Like obviously, don't look straight up with your neck. Look up with your eyes. Teachers aren't going to notice that. They're not going to notice that. As far as they know that you're keeping full eye contact on your classmates, and so
yeah,
and it's not the worst to like don't when if you're going to check your notes, don't tilt your head down to look at them. Glance down at them. Don't tilt your head down at them because then it shows that you're not
uh,
prepared for it.
yeah. That was what happened. Yeah, that was what I learned from the role play I did like a few days ago. That because we only got like a few minutes to prepare for that role play because it was given the day before that. It was given like we should make a role play, and I'm only with this other person, so I had to prepare for the next 10 minutes. And I really because I kept forgetting, I just maximized the usage of paper as props because it was about research. It was like
Mhm.
how to present yourself doing a case study. So I was like, the entire script was like, so yeah, I'm gonna say, oh no, oh we should do a case study on mental health issues, and like, okay, you write the questions and give it to me. I'll ask the questions, and I'm like, I made use of that because I said write the questions. I made use of that paper. Therefore, I also put my notes, my script notes down on that paper. So therefore, it was really obvious that I was nervous and stuff. And I was shaking, and also yeah, the eye contact. I keep like not doing that. It's one of the biggest things I'm having problem with. I'm like, I would do eye contact, but I would look everywhere. I would look there, over there on the back of the wall, over to the door. It's a very horrifying sight.
Mhm.
With a very horrifying sight. You do not want to see me that nervous.
And Well, um, it's just it's okay to stutter a little bit or to, be up there and you're obviously showing sign. Just don't lose focus. Just don't let that be the overcoming factor of it. Because the moment that you take away from your own speech, that's when you start to fail.
Yeah, stuttering. Yeah, I do sometimes lose focus, but I do try to get back to my main points. At
Mhm.
least, what do you call this? Like I would last time I was presenting an oral recitation about a business that was successful, and I kept stuttering, but I was because I had my notes with me. It was like because we were also asked to write it on the board, so it's write the key points down on the board. So I was taking notes and stuff, and because I memorized, because I also know this business story by heart because my mom keeps telling me about that story, and it was about
Mhm.
like a shoe. It was about like a boy from who came from China, immigrated to the Philippines. They lost their store, and then their parents had to move. Their family had to move back, but the boy stayed and turned that like business into an entire supermarket business. That was what my topic was about, and I kept stuttering because there was not really much. It was said like a timeline. There wasn't really much timeline to go off of because from what I researched, but I was able to deliver it because I remembered the story by heart because it
Mhm.
was told at such a young age. But yeah,
And
just to have, hmm?
that's one thing that when preparing for a speech, do a little bit more research. Know
Yeah,
what you're talking about beforehand, because chances are you're probably going to forget things in your speech. And so, having some information backing it beforehand, you can improv a little bit with it. It might not be exactly what's on your paper, but it fits perfectly with the subject. So, even if you forget what you were mainly talking about, you always have a topic to continue to talk on.
yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, because I knew that from the Henry Caesar. So I think since I know the story, I could talk about it. I could just talk about points that I knew from by heart, and just improv the whole thing. Like that's just so
Mhm.
easier. It's easier. I think that's also the thing about PowerPoint presentations being read off of and not you're not helping. That's not like I said. If you don't help in a PowerPoint presentation or you don't at least memorize the entire thing, not memorize, but like research or learn about the entire thing, you're gonna be struggling with the questions that your teacher gives you, and you will know who wasn't participating in the group.
Mhm.
It's really weird why my school does my classmates I went to school with always do that. This is a new school that might change. But my previous school, they kept doing that. It was odd. They did only rely on one person to do the PowerPoint presentation, and they said they'll do quote unquote their reporting, aka just reading off the entire PowerPoint and just explaining. It used to be like that, but I'm not anymore because I spent 2 years on YouTube presenting to people on strangers online. I
Yeah.
think so. The fact that I'm still getting nervous after all this time in the pandemic, 2 years on YouTube, and I've been doing my series for like a long time with pure confidence. I'm surprised at how much nervousness I felt during that time. Like, why? I spent 2 years building up my confidence, and then this happens to me. Why?
Mhm.
I don't even know if that so it's telling me that it's not there's that the entire preparation I did to get to this point to be more confident didn't help. But here's the thing that did improve though is that back then when I was like in a freshman in junior high, I was very shy. I was too shy, and just my goal was to make like the common goals you would have in just make friends and all that. But like, because I spent 2 years on YouTube just building my confidence, practicing my vocabulary, speaking better to an audience, I think I still am a little shy, but it's more like an introvert style of shy where I just I would talk to you, but like if I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy.
Hmm.
Like, I just keep things casual now. I'm not anymore like that geeky girl who's like, I get it. Oh, I can't believe I just said ooh woo in front of Nico's face.
It's okay. I say that all the time. Don't worry about it.
No, you don't. What do you mean you do?
Say it all the time. Not to you. I say it to other people. Just ask Pain. I say it all the time.
I think it's like a clip from her channel. Her channel is like they're going. Ooh, I don't think it was you. I was also told. I was also asked to say "ara" in the most
Do
weirdest.
not. Don't do it. Don't. No.
No, I'm not doing it.
Don't
I'm
do
not.
it.
No,
Don't do it.
I'm not. I sound weird.
Just don't do it. Don't do it.
The weirdest. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. This is just beyond my comfort zone. And I'm not like not even like in the right space to do that kind. What do you call this? I'm not. My voice isn't very developed. I can do only a few voice ranges, so doing that, no, absolutely not. I can't even sing in the camera for crying out loud. You're asking. Everyone knows how terrible my voice is. So if I do that, it's torture. No. I've been experiencing issues. Bingo. So this is 2 minutes. I just have to memorize this in 2 minutes.
You can do it.
Okay.
But anyhow,
Yeah.
I do have to go. But
Sleep.
I do hope that
It.
I helped a little bit.
Yeah, it did help a lot. Thank you. And yeah,
Okay.
it is 9 o'clock. You should be asleep by now, anyway.
I don't sleep until 12. Don't tell me what to do.
Hey, you scream at me for going to bed, and
You're
you
younger
admit.
than me. You're younger than me. You need sleep. Even if you don't think you do. When you're an adult, you don't need it. You don't need it.
I'm senior high. I'm 16. Wasn't 16 like your old, your like old adult age before you turned 18?
No. I was 18 when I was I was senior in high school.
Hey, don't you have the sweet 16 and all that? Well, that's
I didn't have a sweet 16. I just turned 16. I was like, nice. I could drive now.
right. Oh, sorry, my brother's here. Okay, you get some sleep, brother. Like,
All right. You take care of yourself, RC. Get this done. You got it. You can do it. I believe in you.
oh, thank you. I gotta start. I
Take
gotta start now. All right. See ya.
take care.
Peace. Take care.